Hello and welcome to Levant TV headlines. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Russian President Vladimir Putin have agreed on a plan to avoid misunderstandings in Syria amid an apparent military build-up by Moscow. French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius says France will not demand Syrian President Bashar al-Assad's departure as a precondition for peace talks. 2 Saudi Arabian soldiers have been captured by rebels in Yemen, the Saudi-led coalition confirmed, vowing to bring them back. UN envoy Bernardino Leon was told Libya's warring parties there would be no more negotiations on a UN peace plan and it was time for them to take it or leave it. And a British archaeologist who believes the legendary Queen Nefertiti may be buried in a secret room adjoining her son Tutankhamun's tomb is travelling to Egypt to test his theory. Now let's take a look at the top headlines in today's newspapers in the Middle East. Starting from the UAE, the Khalij Times leads, reporting that a survey of defectors from the Daesh group has found that many quit the organization because they decided it was too brutal or corrupt, or because it made war too frequently against other Muslims. The paper also reports that Bahrain's largest opposition group, Al-Wefaq National Islamic Society, will be allowed to restart its activities as it has corrected certain administration violations. The Egypt Independent leads, reporting that a joint operation by army and police forces in the Baharia Oasis managed to eradicate a terrorist cell on Monday, seizing 2 barrels of highly explosive substances. The paper also reports that the National Agriculture Quarantine and Inspection Authority has introduced amendments to the regulations and requirements of cotton imports from abroad, requiring importers to obtain permission a month ahead of the import date. From Lebanon, the Daily Star leads, reporting that a ceasefire agreement covering the Syrian border town of Zabadani and 2 Shiite villages in Idlib province between the Syrian army, backed by Hezbollah and rebels, has been extended. The paper also reports that the 3rd round of national dialogue talks kicked off at Parliament as protesters gathered in the Martyrs Square demanding to play a football match with politicians using balls that have their demands written on them. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines from the UK papers. The Telegraph leads its Middle East news with a report on how one of its undercover reporters used Facebook to arrange fake Syrian passport in minutes. The paper says a Facebook group called the Travelers Platform is the destination of choice for many migrants trying to get into Europe and the best possible shortcut. The Guardian leads its Middle East news, reporting that 3 million people from all over the world are expected in Saudi Arabia's holy cities of Mecca and Medina for the annual Islamic Hajj pilgrimage, which is starting amid tight security. The Saudi authorities are deploying 100,000 security personnel, including members of the counter-terrorism and the emergency civil defense units, and 5,000 CCTV cameras. The Independent leads its Middle East news, reporting that dozens of ISIS recruits have left the Islamic militant group, partly because the luxury goods and cars they were promised before they joined failed to materialize, a new paper has found. The report, entitled Victims, Perpetrators, Assets, the Narratives of Islamic State Defectors, looks into the reasons why enthusiastic ISIS recruits may have changed their minds and decided to defect from the militant group. Now let's take a look at the top Middle East headlines in the international papers. From China, the Global Times reports that Israel said Tuesday thousands of police were deployed across Jerusalem ahead of the Jewish Yom Kippur and Muslim Eid al-Adha holidays after days of clashes shook the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound. Al-Aqsa Mosque will be opened for visits, but Palestinian men above the age of 40 will be denied entry during the 4-day Eid. And finally, the International New York Times reports that as the West grapples with a new flood of asylum seekers bursting across Europe's borders, the vast majority of Syrian refugees remain in the region, 1.9 million in Turkey, 1.2 million in Lebanon, and 630,000 registered in Jordan. While growing numbers yearn to join the exodus to Europe, many in the camp have all but surrendered to a life of limited possibilities. And for more updates, please visit levant.tv. Thanks for watching. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. Bye for now.